izinto seziyashuba izinto kumuni ijezi lakho ulibophe ekhalweni manje kumuni ijakhethi uyibophe ekhalweni sale kube mhlophe kwawo hawu kumuni ogqoke lenhla manje akusali isikipha sinobuso bomntwana kuphela manje awafika lo mzuzu awusafika isikhathi bese silindile sazi inkathi enjena-ke thina sazi inkathi enjena thina ngiyacela lapha kwesobunxele sami ngakujantshi akifuni lezayikhale ngiyibona lapha abamba abantu bogcwalisa lapha kwesobunxele ngakujantshi indawo yokuhlalisa khona abakwethu lapha kwesobunxele ngakujantshi indawo yokuhlala isekhona lapha singagcwali emva kwestage yenzeka indaba hawu ikhawa lethu lomzabalazo natheleke ekudleni zasemlazi umkhathi ongagitshelwa mbongolo hayi ngiyakutshela wena yenzeka indaba wafika umholi weqiniso ongathembisi anika abantu amathemba angekho angekafezeke ukhuluma indaba zenzeke njengoba zinjalo akhuluma ngomlomo ukubona eminyakeni ewu-5 ezayo kuyokwenzeka hayi bakwethu asigcwalise lapha ngakujantshi sishone ngakhona asidingi umuntu emva kwesiteji bakwethu singahlali khona sigcwalise i-grandstand sigcwalise lapha ngakujantshi kwesobunxele sigcwalise lapha kwesokudla nalana-ke la kuyi-overflow la ngaphathi enkundleni isikhala lakwa-left sisekhona friends of the IFP, those that are watching us on all TV channels, welcome to the IFP Manifesto launch for the 2016 local government election. Thank you for being here in such large numbers. We know, Your Excellency, that there are thousands of people still wanting to come to the stadium. They've been phoning us from early this morning requiring transport. But unfortunately, we could only provide what we could. So to all of you that are watching on television live, we want you to listen very carefully to what Mtwana Gapindangene Prince is going to be saying to all the candidates and to all the people of South Africa. So for now, I would like to call upon Ubaba Mfundis, Irreverend Donda, to open with Umkhuleko, to open with prayer, and thereafter my colleague, Deputy National Chairperson, Mr. Mwango, will continue with the program. Baba Mfundis. Where is he? Was here. He was sitting here.
Ngiyanibingelela nonke egameni elihle lenkosi yethu Jesu Kristu. Amen. Bengicela ukuthi bonke abantu bakaNkulunkulu ke belalele.
Hayi, thula msindo phela, thula msindo. Thula msindo.
Ngiyacela isonto namhlanje nginiphethe nonke njengoba nilapha nje ekuseni. Bengicela ukuba ke sihloniphe uNkulunkulu sithandaze bakwethu. Ngaphambi kokuba ngithandaze ngiyacela ukuba ke ngedlulise nakho okuncane okusezwini lenkosi. Ngicela ukuba ngifunde incwadi kaIsaiah chapter 54. Ngicela ukuba sifunde incwadi kaIsaiah chapter 54. And then ke ngizocela ukuthi nina enila nonke manifika emakhaya ake nilalele lento. Angiyena umfundisi namhlanje ngumprofeti. Ngakho ke ngiyacela uba nikulandele lokhu manifika emakhaya nifunde incwadi kaIsaiah chapter 52 no 54 nimqede wonke nizowuthola wonke umlayezo kaNkulunkulu lo awenzele kinini. Uma sifunda incwadi yezikronike kukhona into enkulu ithi uma abantu bami ababizwa ngegama lami beyakuzithoba bakhuleke kimi bafune ubuso bami ngiyakuzwa ke mina uNkulunkulu ngisezulwini ebese ngehla ngizopholisa izwe labo. Sisezweni elishisayo ngilanje ekuseni namhlanje lokusile ngiyathandaza ngithi Nkosi pholisa izwe lethu ngoba izwe leli liyasha liyashisa. Masibongeke ukubona abaholi abafana nalaba abahluphekela ukuba bapholise izwe bathandekayo bethe enkosini. Nakini nonke nakithi sonke kunesilandelayo uNkulunkulu makasisize asinikeze umoya wokuthoba nomoya wokulalela nomoya wokuhlonipha sekuseduze manje sifinyelele la esiyakhona. Inkosi mayibonga. Ngakho ke izwi lami engifuna uba ngilifunde kini elumlayezo ovela kuNkulunkulu uqobo. Ngitheka kuyena umfundisi namhlanje ngumprofeti ngumpolofiti. Lithi ke izwi lenkosi jabula wena nyumba wena ongazalanga. Ngiyacabanga ukuthi namhlanje uNkulunkulu uyanitshela ukuthi aselule izindawo zethu ngoba usizwile ekukhaleni kwethu. Ake nithi amen. Unizwile uNkulunkulu ukukhala kwenu and uNkulunkulu uzokunisiza namhlanje ngendlela emangalisayo. Uthi uma abantu bami ababizwa ngegama lami bakuyithi bawukhuleka bathobe bafune ubuso bami. Ningakhohlwa ukuthi impumelelo itholakala ekuthobeni nasekulaleleni abaholi. Okwami engimengumelela ngithi bazalwane bahlobo bami ake sihlonipheni abasiholayo ake sihlonipheni abantu esibanikezwe uNkulunkulu uzawusibusisa uNkulunkulu ngendlela emangalisayo. Leli izwe engilifundileyo la wolifunda ekhaya likhuluma nawe kodwa uqale ku52 uye ku54. Sesikhathele umsindo emhlabeni, sesikhathele ukulwa, sesikhathele ukubulalana kwabantu nokuzondana ngeze. Nansi imisebenzi esikhombisa ngayo uNkulunkulu ekuseni namhlanje ukuthi engabasebenzisa abantu namhlanje baqoqa abantu bebatshele into ephilayo. Nathi thina esiphilayo masilalele senze njengoba kushiwo. Ake sivala amehlo ke ngithandazeke bathandekayo. Baba wethu osezulwini uNkulunkulu omdala weminyaka. Nangu umntwana wephinda ngene nabaholi bakhe bonke ahamba nabo. Naloko okusazobekwa kule ndawo ngiyathandaza ngegama lakhe elingcwele ukuba Nkosi kuzwakale kungasuka ezinhlizweni zabantu. Sesimkhulekele isikhathi eside lo mholi kanye nabazalwane bethu ahamba nabo. Kabazange bekhathale bethuka bedelela benziwa zonke izinto bahambile. Nakho namhlanje Nkosi sibona okuhle kangaka. Busisa ke izwe lethu ngaye nangabo bonke laba asebenza nabo. Nangalo lonke leli iqembu esilihloniphayo labantwana bakho Nkosi ake uzwe ukukhala kwethu ukuba ke kube khona ukuthula emhlabeni. Ake unqamle igazi liphophoza mahala emhlabeni nokuzondana okungaka noma sebengaphakathi ekubuseni bazondana banyanyana ngegama lakho Nkosi ngiyaqalekisa yonke lemimoya yokunyanyana ngithi ngegama lenkosi yethu Jesu Kristu makube kuhle manje kuzobe phakade amen.
Amandla izwe ngubani umholi sihole ngiyacela ngaphandle kokuchitha isikhathi ukuba ngicele imhlonishwa inkosi ubuthelezi yasembongombongweni eyiphini likamongameli wethu kuba izosemukela kulomcimbi wethu shenge.
Thank you very much, Program Directors, Honorable TG of our party, Mr. Singh, and the Deputy National Chairperson and the Chairperson of the Daily Management Committee, His Excellency, our President, our National Chairperson, the Deputy Secretary of our party, the Chairperson of Women's Brigade, Ms. Kamadlopa Mtetwa, and the Chairperson of our Youth Brigade, Mr. Hlengwa, members of the NEC and members of the National Council, members of Parliament and provincial legislatures, mayors, councillors, leaders, and all members of our party from different branches across South Africa, distinguished guests and friends of the IFP. I'm proud today to stand as the Deputy President of this party and welcome you to the Manifesto launch of the IFP. Today we declare hope in our nation. We will give you reasons to look forward to what is coming, for the future can be secured if it's placed in the right hands. When historians look back over the great moments that changed our history, they always discover that there were signposts along the way, pointing to a change to come. This is the change with South Africa right now. All signs are pointing to a coming change. We have protest and uprising, discontent with government, rising demands and deepening frustration. And in stark contrast to this, we have a lighthouse hope that is drawing more and more people to its light. And that lighthouse is the IFP. The IFP is standing in these coming elections as a strong leadership for 2016. We are backed not only by 41 years of experience in clean government, but by support of thousands upon thousands of South Africans who have placed their trust in the IFP. We will give this campaign all our energy, for we know that the future of the democracy depends on our success as the IFP. There is no exaggeration. There is enough evidence before South Africa to know that democracy is in peril. It is time for clean slate. It is time to restore leadership of integrity. Over the past few months, the IFP has received candidate nominations from all our branches. We have sifted through leaders, searching for the right people to represent your voice, searching for the right people to represent you in local government. We have looked for a character and experience, honesty and skills. And at the end of this difficult process, we believe we have chosen a superb team of candidates. Today, these candidates join us as we present the IFP campaign manifesto for 2016. These men and women are ready to become your councillors. They are ready to be held accountable by the party they serve. We will support them as they fulfill their mandate to serve your needs. That is our commitment to you. We invite you all to make a commitment as well. Make a commitment to secure the future of South Africa. Listen to the wisdom of the President, the Prince of Kwapindangene, and decide in your hearts to partner with the IFP. Everything rests on the 3rd of August. On this day, through our votes, we will decide whether South Africa will continue to burn or will rise once again. Thank you for joining us as we launch the IFP Manifesto. Thank you.
Thank you to our Deputy President Ndabazeta for those welcoming remarks. And I'd like to also welcome a special guest, Dr. Dix from the Konrad Adenauer Stifting. Welcome, Dr. Dix, and thank you for traveling all the way from Johannesburg to be with us. So welcome to all our guests that are here today. To members of the media, His Excellency the Prince will be speaking from my podium on the left. So if you want to set up, please, you can set up from there. Now, comrades, there's about 50 days to go before the elections. 50 days. Now we can sit here today and count the days. But it is more important to make the days count. It is more important to make the days count. Every day is going to be important for us from today until victory on August the 3rd. Having said that, may I invite the National Chairperson of the IFP Women's Brigade, Mama Dlopa Mtatwa, to give us a few remarks. Mama Dlopa Mtatwa.
Why did you mention?
Thank you.
Because he said he did not.
Thank you, program directors, Honorable TG and Honorable Mwango. His Excellency, the President Ndabezitha, Honorable Deputy President, Abantwana baseNdlunkulu, Amakhosi aseNdlunkulu, members of the IFP National Council, members of the NEC present, honorable members of parliament and legislatures, electoral candidates, comrades, ngiyambingelela. The question which is uppermost in my mind as I stand and up to make some remarks on behalf of the Women's Brigade is, what contribution can I, as Tembeni Kamadlopa Mtetwa, make to the campaign effort of the Inkatha Freedom Party, which is my party? I ask the same question of the Women's Brigade. What sort of contribution are we going to make to the campaign effort of the IFP? In our branches, in our constituencies, in our districts, in our provinces, we should collectively answer this question honestly. A successful campaign requires many activities. It requires commitment, dedication, positive attitude, selflessness, and hard work. I know these words are not new to IFP as well as to women. Let me mention just some of these activities that we, as the Women's Brigade of the IFP, will be involved in. First of all, we want to make sure that we go through advertising. A successful political campaign needs advertising. Put simple, we need to publicize both our party and our candidates. Advertising our candidates can either be by word of mouth or through the media or focus group discussions. Our party and our candidates should be known in each and every VD as well as in each and every ward where the IFP is contesting elections. Let us pledge now that as Women's Brigade will organize activities that are aimed at publicizing our candidates and our party. The types of advertising that we're going to use will be either local media and also the focus group that we're going to be focused on. We are also going to engage ourselves in visibility campaign as well as in local churches, malls, and all those things. We also need to have successful campaign that in marketing. The electorate need to know what our party stands for.
Hello. Sisacela nabo comrade laba bafikayo. Amandla. Bo comrade lifika sesiqalile kuhlonipheni ukuthi uhlelo seluyaqhubeka. Singakwenzi lokho esikwenzayo. Sicela sime nje khona lapha esimi khona. Akungabe kusakhuzwa saga manje. Kubi lokho enikwenzile comrade ngoba phela khona bese befike eqale baphambili befanele nithole indawo nina ngemuva kodwa nje basenimileke asilalele kanjalo ke kuqhutshekwe nohlelo amandla.
It needs to know what our candidates are offering. We as the Women's Brigade will have to offer the electorate persuasive answers as to why should voters vote for us, the IFP, and not other parties. And we are known by our ways of doing things that we can do that. We will have to go from house to house to listen to what people are saying about us and respond appropriately. This will also involve talking to people in our workplaces as well as our neighbors. Let us focus more on what we as Women's Brigade can offer using ulimi, not to do anything but to advance the cause of the IFP, rather than what the party can offer us. It's very important. Let us not say what is there for us, but let us go there and work, because we've been in Egypt for 5 years. Then we are going to liberate ourselves. As Women's Brigade, we stand for integrity, fraud elimination, a culture of serving. We want future leaders that can stand against wrongdoing by the state through peaceful and constructive action. Through this intervention, we believe we will make a meaningful contribution to the party's campaign efforts. Trust us, we are the tried and tested party. Thank you.
Siyabonga kakhulu kumama kaMadlopha ungusihlalo wombutho wabesifazane. Ngenxa yokuthi ucomrade uhlengwa ukhona asakwenza sizocela ukuba ngiyaxolisa sefikile kade kukhona asakwenza ngakho ngizocela ukubiza ucomrade uhlengwa okusihlalo kazwelonke wombutho wentsha ukuba naye azokwethula umlayezo kule nhlangano yethu namhlanje.
Amandla, Amandla, viva IFP, viva! Viva IFP Youth Brigade, viva! Viva the youth of South Africa, viva! Ubani umholi, ubani umholi, sihole, 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 Amandla! Thank you very much, Program Directors, the Treasurer General and the Deputy National Chair, His Excellency, the President of the IFP, Prince Buthelezi, the Leadership Collective of the IFP, our candidates, the structures of the IFP across our country, and most importantly, the people of South Africa who on this day can breathe a sigh of relief, knowing that a manifesto that they can trust, which speaks to their needs, which is going to develop this country, is being presented today. As the IFP Youth Brigade, we have looked around and seen that there is a trust deficit in South Africa. Local government is on the virtual brink of collapse because it has become the playground of corruption, fraud, people looting money, ekseni, emini, tambama, nasepsugu. Unemployment is rising every day and now stands at 26.7%. It is young people who bear the brutal brunt of unemployment. When education collapses, it's young people that bear the brutal brunt of that collapsing education. When everything goes wrong in this country, it's young people that bear the brutal brunt of that which is wrong. But Today, we are saying the IFP is here ready to serve the people of South Africa. The IFP manifesto is committed to job creation. It is committed to ensuring that education is improved. It is committed to ensuring that beyond the provision of electricity, water, housing, but municipalities become hubs and hives of economic activity so that young people can get jobs. That is what the IFP is committing to doing today. You can trust us to achieve that. We have done so in the past and we are prepared to do so in the future. We are signing a contract with you today, a contract of trust, integrity, honesty, transparency, which says to young people, hope has arrived. In a sea of chaos, trouble, shortcomings, the IFP is an island of hope where you can take refuge so that your future can be better. We will hold our councillors to account to ensure that youth development is at the center of the agenda of South Africa moving forward. That is what the IFP is doing. We have been around for 41 years, and never once in those 41 years have we ever let you down. We're not about to begin so doing now, because you can we've got a leader you can trust. You've got a manifesto you can trust. You've got a track record you can trust. The evidence is down to trust, honesty, and integrity. Therefore, I appeal to all young South Africans to stand up and be counted. Don't let anybody else set our agenda. It must be set by us young people. Wanting jobs is no longer the language we speak. It is now a demand, because if we don't have jobs, we become agents which are not productive. We want to contribute to this country, and the IFP today is promising a manifesto which is going to bring us on board as young people. We are sick and tired of sitting on the sidelines and watching people ruin our future. We want to stand behind a leadership today which says young people are a priority and they are important. So young people of South Africa, we are making a commitment to be your voice every day for the next 5 years. And I can assure you that come the next elections, the IFP will still be there, committed to serving you. Before I sit down, I want to correct this thing which people are always saying the IFP is a dying party. Since 2011, the IFP is the only party to have regained 5 municipalities. Our gains are somebody's loss, because people trust us to deliver that which they need and want for themselves. By the way, if you look around here now, it's young people, Sheng, who have come to say, we are ready to take your message of trust and hope forward. Lead us into the future, because we are ready. We are ready, Sheng. Siyaya, okhethweni, siyonqoba, siyokhuluma ilanguage IFP. Ayeye, bantu abasha, ayeye. Amandla!
Amandla, izwe. Wakhuluma wangikhumbuza nami ngisemusha. Noma sengiyintsha endala kodwa siyabonga kakhulu ngomlayezo wakho comrade uhlengwa. Bengifisa ukuthi ngaleli thuba I would like to ask comrade Liesel van der Merwe to come and make an important announcement.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mnwango. Viva IFP, viva! Viva Youth Brigade, viva! Viva Women's Brigade, viva! The leadership of the IFP, members of the NEC, members of Parliament, mayors and special guests, members of the media, all protocol observed, South Africans at large. The Inkatha Freedom Party caucus in Parliament has on numerous occasions and on numerous platforms called for the provision of free sanitary wear for schoolgirls who cannot afford them. We do so because we know that this government can afford to provide free sanitary products to disadvantaged schools and learners. They spend millions on the provision of free condoms, even flavored ones. We have called for the provision of free sanitary products because millions of schoolgirls nationwide, especially those in rural areas, miss a week of school each month simply because they cannot afford sanitary products. Not only are they denied their constitutional right to education, but women are denied the right to dignity. It is therefore today that we announce with great pride that we will take the lead in the provision of free sanitary products to all those who cannot access them. After 3 August, wherever we govern, we will direct our mayors to allocate a portion of their budget to make available to schools so that they can ensure that free sanitary products for our schoolgirls becomes a reality. We do so because the IFP cares for women. We do so because we care for the youth and we care for the empowerment of our women. Viva IFP, viva!
Thank you. Thank you very much, Honourable Ms. van der Merwe, who is our Member of Parliament in the National Assembly. She has been taking this issue up on a number of occasions. Free sanitary pads to our young people who can't afford them. And this is a project of the IFP. All our future mayors and councillors, do what we ask you to do when you take control. Before we call on the President and to listen to his address to all of us and to South Africa and to the rest of Africa, we've got a young lady here, Nomali Dlamini, who will recite a poem and then His Excellency will address us. Miss Dlamini, give her a round of applause.
Viva IFP, viva! Lapha mkwenu Nomali kaDlamini ngiqhamuke endaweni yaseMsinga emachunwini. Shenge sokaliso nqengelele. Ngikubhalela inkondlo emnandi enkatha. Ngizothi ngikuphela umlayezo omnandi ozohamba nawo umphako wakho sokaliso. Mina ke ngizoqala ngizithi qaphu qaphu ngumzukulu kaGomkambushi indele enyoni kodwa kayiboni kaZulu umzukulu kaMama Joli Star esadaka savusa umuzi saphinda sazala esinye futhi isdaka umfule nguphuza ngiphuza unkeke ingakho nje nginje uzobuza omunye ethi njani cha ngokubuhla ngimuhla indaba ngiyacikoza ngolimi lami angathi iqembu lami Inkatha yenkululeko. Inkondlo yami ithi Inkatha yenkululeko ugaleleke wezwakala washo wenza bayebetha kukhosoke elingenasici mina ngithi cha Inkatha yenkululeko iyisoke elingenasici ngempela ngoba uvundulule amakhono ezimbongini ezisencane zakhula phambi kwakho ubani obengafanisa nawe Inkatha yenkululeko mfezi wezethembiso msizi wabalisizi yafika Inkatha kwavumbuka ugesi yafika Inkatha kwavumbuka imigwaqo yafika Inkatha kwavumbuka izifundazwe imfundo ephakeme ingakho nje silapha kulentsasa yanamuhla izintombi nezinsizwa zishiyelana inkundla mana njalo Inkatha yenkululeko siyoma zabalazi ukuze ungazanyazanyiswa izivunguvungu ngeswela imlomo ezinkulungwane bengizobonga umntana kaphinda ngene shenge sokaliso nqengelele siyaziqhenya ngawe usenze sangazinyeza ngokusifundisa inhlonipho isisho sesiZulu sisho sithi ukuze uhlonishwe kumele uzihloniphe wena nakini intsha yakithi eNkatha ngithi thathani isibonele sihle kumntwana kaphinda ngene ngiyazibongela ngingumzukulu kaGomkambushi ngisuke eMsinga emachunwini imeya yami FJ Sikhakhane ka-Ward 7 ikhansela lami uSithole ngiyabonga.
Amandla izwe sinamaciko namakhono entsheni yethu ye-IFP siyacela ke bafethu nxa sihlabela phambili ukuba ke ngicele nampa abaphithizayo lapha ukuthi bakuyeke lokho abakwenzayo nabakhulumayo manje ngicela bakuyeke ukukhuluma nabaphethe izinto ezidliwayo ke beyifake emotweni napo comrade abahamba lapha nje sengathi ngabathatha indawo yabo mashinyane ngoba sesifike kuyivutho ndaba lomcimbi wethu lapha sesocela khona umhlonishwa umntwana kwaphinda ngene omengameli weqembu leNkatha ukuba azokhuluma nathi shenge
Wenzani manje? Amandla. Amandla. Bahlonishwa abaphathi bohlelo. Bangazitha. Mhlonishwa sing. Abantwana basendlunkulu abakhona. Amakhosi endlunkulu akhona. Abahlonishwa imeya zethu ezikhona. Amahlonishwa amalungu eParliament eKapa, amalungu eParliament eshamthethweni sase Gauteng nesa KwaZulu Natal. Abaholi bethu bonke abakhona, amakhansela ethu nabangani bethu abakhona. My comrades, I would like to start by saying that when a political leader rises to speak, they first observe protocol. Listening, dignitaries present. Today, however, as I look across the stadium, I know that the most important people are those who have come here to hear about the IFP, as our leader, the chairperson of the Women's Brigade and the chairperson of the Youth Brigade have stated. You, comrades, individually, are here. And we have the reason why we are here. We are the people we serve. That's why I thank all the dignitaries I've mentioned for their presence today. My biggest thanks go to you, the individuals who made this decision to come here and listen to the IFP. We have made a good decision. I intend to give you plenty to think about and plenty of reasons which should make you support or put your mark on the IFP slot on the 3rd of August. Many of you comrades are here today as long-standing IFP members and supporters. We have carried membership cards for years, some since the Inkatha was formed in 1975. I honor you for your commitment, knowing that we have walked a remarkable journey together that has influenced our country. Thanks to each one of you, comrades, for your attendance. Thanks so much to you all. Thanks and thanks and thanks and thanks for your presence here today. I honor you. I'm proud of you. Others in the stadium are members who have returned to the IFP fold, having tested waters in other parties and found that there is indeed no place like home. We welcome you home, comrades. Thank you for coming back to the IFP. There is always a place for you in the IFP family. We value your presence. To those who have newly partnered with the IFP, we say, welcome. Thank you for placing your trust in a party that has worked to earn your respect. As we move forward together, we intend to keep that trust. We invite you to make your contribution in this partnership, in the IFP, because every voice matters. As I stand before you, comrades, in the midst of you as comrades and patriots and friends, I feel a surge of hope for South Africa. I know what can be achieved when like-minded people like yourselves come together in this way, in the best interest of the nation, in the best interest of their families, and in the best interest of their communities. I've had the privilege of leading this party for 41 years, and I've seen victories won, and time again people who are working against odds. I've seen communities oppressed by poverty rising from nowhere to become self-sufficient. I've seen youth with no hope for the future, creating a future through education and knowledge. I've seen families held by children and children raised by grandmothers, and I've seen them healthy, well-fed, and filled with hope. I've seen thriving businesses raised from the smaller seed capital. I've seen houses built through partnerships between people and government, and clinics built where people had no access before to health care. I've opened thousands of schools in my life, thousands of classrooms, calling on children to learn and learn. I've seen women shattered by abuse, living whole again. Comrades, these things are possible, but they don't happen just by chance. And they don't happen automatically in a democratic system. It saddens me to know that many South Africans have lost faith in democracy. Not because democracy itself is a flawed system, but because of the way it has been implemented in our country. It is good and well for our Constitution to extend human rights to all our people and to give them a voice in governance. But when there are still people waiting for decent housing 22 years into democracy, and when votes are still bought with food parcels, it is no wonder that people think that democracy doesn't work. It is tragic that even the Department of Human Settlements does what it can, as it's doing, to provide housing, that many of the houses are not habitable. We're suddenly, undoubtedly, working at great odds in our country. At the foundational level of democratic governance, which is your local municipality, problems exist that should not be there. Municipal governance is not functioning as it should. There are things that need to change to fulfill the promises of democracy and get local government working for you. The good news is this: there is a way to initiate that change. We're not helpless victims of a corrupt and failing system. No, no, no. We're the most powerful players in the system. We're the voters. We're the electorate. We're the ones who get to say who can stay and who must go. More importantly, we're the ones who can change the entire leadership and governance. The moment to do that is on the 3rd of August 2016, when we vote in the local government elections. On that day, comrades, August 3rd, the power will be placed where it rightly belongs, in your hands. With your vote, you can actually convey your message about the situation that amounts to a crisis in our country. Through your vote, you can change everything. You can ensure that roads are built in your community, that your local school gets the maintenance it so badly needs, and that the water is accessible throughout the year. Your vote can remove people who don't deserve to be councillors, people who haven't respected the mandate you give them and haven't represented your voice adequately. In their place, you can appoint people you can trust. But that brings us to the question that many South Africans are asking: who can I trust in this volatile political climate in which protests rise on the staff of Parliament and in the very chamber of the National Assembly, in the streets and in the campuses? There is one resounding question, and that question is a question of trust. At the highest level of leadership, trust has been broken. For the first time since apartheid, an unbreachable chasm has opened between citizens and leaders of this country in government. Let me speak frankly, comrades. At all levels of government, we see maladministration and corruption. And even our president has not been without any blemish. This has led to an outcry throughout the country. One cannot help remembering the saying that when a fish rots, the rot starts at the head. Under the leadership of this president, corruption has become synonymous with government. Scandal after scandal blazes across our newspapers. Where once we stood with pride, we now feel shame. Comrades, if I may depart from my speech, today's headline in the Sunday Tribune, our Sunday paper in this province, the headline says, "Fired mayor, now MEC." Recycling of corrupt people. Corrupt people are not punished in our country. In fact, they are recycled and put in important positions. Here they are talking about one of the MECs that have been appointed recently, Ms. Bongi Sithole Moloi, who actually, according to the report, her own party, the ANC, kicked her out in a vote of no confidence. And central to her sacking were allegations that she had channeled 1.5 million of taxpayers' money into the account of Lucky Moloi, a man that she later married. Corruption stinks to high heavens in our country. And that is not the way it should be. But the poison has seeped down into all levels among opening the door rather to corruption and self-serving, greedy officials. Cronyism, nepotism, career deployment, tenderpreneurs, job breakers. These are words that should never have entered our daily vocabulary. But we all know them now because they happen in our country every day. It's what familiar. We're familiar with under the present government. No wonder people are asking, who can I trust? I know that there are some in the stadium who have come with that very question in their hearts. You have come to listen to what the IFP has to offer in the hope of hearing something you can believe in. After years of empty promises and broken promises, we are looking for something you can trust. And I want to encourage you, comrades, because there is still a party you can trust in South Africa. You can trust the IFP. You can trust us, in other words. And I'm proud of the fact that whenever I speak to people about the IFP's character and what we can do, that my words are backed by 41 years of honest leadership. The IFP has served with integrity for 4 decades. We're at the forefront of the battle against apartheid, working hand in hand within South Africa to win democracy. We were at the negotiating table, spearheading the fight for provinces and empowered municipalities. We were in the government of national unity for 10 years, changing the exclusionary policies and legislation of the past to create a country in which every person is respected. We're at the helm in Natal, fast-tracking development and laying foundations for clean governance. However, the political landscape has now changed, and more change is certain. But the IFP is still there, comrades. Everyone can see that we're still there. If they look around the stadium, they can see, in spite of all the obituaries that are written every year, that we're very much around. They must see that ring in their ears the words of our great leader, Nelson Mandela, when he said about me, we have used all sorts of ammunition to destroy him, but we failed. He's still there. We cannot ignore him. He's a formidable survivor. We are still working for you, to serve you, and still standing for the best interests of our country, South Africa. We're in Parliament, we're in the legislatures, we're in the district and local municipalities, we're in your community, listening to your needs. We have never once made a promise and failed to deliver. We have been honest with you, and over 4 decades, we have built a partnership that you can trust. That's why we are here. That is the legacy of the IFP. I am proud of it. But more than that, I'm grateful because I know that behind the legacy is the hard work and selfless commitment of thousands of men and women, you comrades, who have linked themselves to the IFP family. We are always very careful who we place in positions of trust. For these people carry the IFP's good name. They become the face of the IFP. Thus, we choose candidates to stand for elections. We make sure that they are the right people for the job, not only because they are leaders in their communities, but because they have demonstrated good character. Today, I'm proud to introduce to you, comrades, the IFP's candidates for the 2016 local government elections. These are men and women who will serve your needs and carry your voice into your municipality. They are the ones you will call on when you have any concern. They will answer your questions and seek to meet your needs. They will ensure that governance in your community is done with integrity, with transparency, as the leader of the Youth Brigade stated, and real participation. Our candidates for 2016 understand that you are the reason the IFP exists. They are here to serve you. The IFP understands that this is a great responsibility. When you give a mandate to IFP candidates, a binding contract is formed there and then. We as a party become fully responsible for holding your elected leaders to account. We make sure that they do their job because they are doing it under the IFP's name. Thus, every single candidate we put forward for election is asked to sign a pledge committing themselves to be accountable, to be honest, to be accessible, to be trustworthy, to be diligent, and to be active. I am pleased to announce that all our candidates have willingly accepted to sign this pledge. Today, in your presence, comrades, they will sign this commitment in front of you. As they do so, I encourage you to take note of each and every candidate. These are the people you will vote for on the 3rd of August. There will be a link, in other words, between you and the democratic government that works. Getting government working is not about reshuffling cabinets. It's about changing leadership at the foundational level. Good governance begins in municipalities. This is where your voice is heard and your service delivery needs are met. Thus, it is essential, comrades, that the right party be placed in leadership at the municipal level. Every party brings its own ethos and its own politics. It is no coincidence that municipalities administered by the ANC are failing to meet your needs. It's not just about corruption, mismanagement, and wasteful expenditure. We are familiar with violent protests which occur in ANC-run municipalities all over the country, and all being wanted by ANC members who feel that the ANC has failed to deliver services. They go to the extent of burning down municipal offices and councillors' houses and even killing people. They do not end there. They burn down schools, libraries. Where the money exists is just not spent. Money that is budgeted for, which is given to our province and some municipalities, is just not spent. Over the last 5 years, since 2011, government elections, municipalities in Kwazulu-Natal have failed to spend infrastructure grants to the tune of 210 million, which they have not spent. In his report, Mr. K.M. Makwetu, the Auditor General, stated that KwaZulu-Natal once again performed poorly at 22.4%, followed by the Free State at 18.2%, Northwest at 11.6%, and Mpumalanga at 8.3%. Gauteng was at the bottom of the list with 12.1% provision of solid waste management. Now, the 210 million was earmarked to build houses, to build schools, to build clinics, to build roads and community centers. Can you imagine? And they failed to use it. It had to go back to the fiscus because they failed to use it. That's how they fail in the governance game. We can talk about a lack of planning and a lack of vision, but in the end, it comes down to a lack of integrity. If you really want to help people and meet their needs, you don't ignore them. You don't leave money unspent while people go hungry. That's just not bad governance. It is immoral. No wonder service protests are igniting in almost every municipality administered by the ANC. Things are no better in those municipalities that were forced into an ANC NFP administration. It was a purely political move, decided at the top, and the people paid the price. Most of these municipalities have been unstable for 5 years, with politics trumping service delivery time and time again. But there are a few that have been rescued through the ballot box, as our leader, the Honorable Ms. Nkulego Mhlengwa, because through the by-elections since 2011, the electorate has returned 5 municipalities to the IFP. And in all the municipalities we administer, including Kandla, by the way, the hometown of the ANC president and the president of the country, the IFP enjoys a partnership with the people. We don't see service delivery protests because the line of communication is always open. People know they can come to their IFP councillor and something will be done. But we also have heard our rotten potatoes, I must say, amongst our councillors. We have tried to weed them out. That is the way it should be. In a partnership of trust, everyone should know what is expected and what will be delivered. That is particularly important as we approach an election. For this reason, the IFP's manifesto for 2016 contains solid reasons to trust us. You will find in this manifesto a basic statement of who we are and why we've been your trusted partner in good governance for 41 years. But this is an overarching manifesto I'm talking about, because in every community, the IFP will provide a local manifesto that deals with the specific issues that affect you. In that manifesto, we'll tell you more about the candidates standing in your wards, and they'll make their personal commitment to you. I therefore encourage you, comrades, to read the manifesto together with the one we're launching today, so that you will have the full picture of why a vote for the IFP is a vote for positive change. Let me therefore give you some reason, give you some of the good reasons why you should vote for the IFP. Clearly, a voice of reason is needed in our country to secure democracy. That voice is the IFP. You can trust us to drive good governance in every municipality. You can trust us to make job creation the #1 priority of all the IFP municipalities. You can trust us to loosen the grip of corruption and restore integrity and accountability in leadership. You can trust us to speed up the provision of decent housing without red tape, illegal tenders, and false promises. Everyone needs a home, not just a few. You can trust us to respect the rule of law and create security in your community, and that everyone can be and feel safe. Our women and children should feel safe in our streets. You can trust us to select candidates who will work for you. All IFP candidates will sign a contract of good governance, which the party will ensure is adhered to. You can trust us to deliver services to all in the spirit of Ubuntu Butu, not just for the few at the expense of the many. You can trust us to declare drought relief as an emergency and to prioritize clean water, drinking water for all. You can trust us to help to get food on the table and health care for your family. You can trust us to speed up the construction of roads and bridges to provide safe transport and to change the current policy with high visibility policing instead of entrapment. You can trust us to partner with schools to create a better learning environment for our children. The question that comes up naturally is, why should you trust you? Why should you trust us? Our track record, my reply, is our track record when we governed Kwa-Zulu and governed the province of Kwa-Zulu Natal during the first 10 years of our freedom, under Dr. Frank Mdlalose, under Dr. Ben Gubane, under Dr. Mchali. That record speaks for itself. There was not even a whiff of corruption. The IFP has one vision, comrades, and it's got one purpose, and that is to serve all people of South Africa. I therefore invite you to support a leadership that has earned your trust. We have proven what can be done when honest, accountable, transparent, and trustworthy leaders serve South Africa. We have proven that. As Bonoma Figizol, the IFP deserves your support. We are the right people for the job. Why then have we taken a knock at the polls? Why has the IFP's electoral support declined? There is one very simple reason for that. The saying goes that desperate times call for desperate measures. Desperate times call for desperate measures. Undoubtedly, our country faces desperate times. Through years of weak leadership, the ruling party at national level has plunged South Africa into a crisis. Our economy has become stagnant. Jobs are being lost. Poverty is spreading. And the more South Africa declines, the bolder the promises become. Government promises to create, the president himself in front of us in Parliament, promised to create 500,000 jobs. Instead, 1 million jobs were lost. The pattern is not new. From the very beginning, the ANC promised things it could never deliver and charted slogans it had no plan to fulfill. A better life for all. Sound like good music in the ears, but means nothing. The promise of free education has still not materialized. The promise of houses for all has not been met. But the difference between now and 10 years ago is that people are no longer willing to wait. They have lost faith that the ANC will deliver because trust has been irrevocably broken. The Fees Must Fall campaign sent a message that government could not ignore. It was not just a message about free education. It was a message that we have had enough. Enough is enough. We won't wait anymore or listen to any more excuses. Either you deliver or you're out. That is the simple message of democracy. The power to hire and fire government is in the hands of the people, who are not held to ransom by political leaders. We in fact hold the reins as voters. Tragically, however, in the midst of the crisis, people have become so desperate that their vote can be bought or swayed. Here in Kwa-Zulu Natal, the IFP earned your trust by running a clean and efficient administration. We understand that deep-seated poverty could not be turned around overnight. We are realists. But we are making a steady progress and setting in place the framework of our accelerated economic growth. You know, when I was in the cabinet, we were aiming for 5% economic growth. Every year, it went down, to the extent that now economic growth is less than 1%, which means that we're in a very difficult situation. And I'm not in the game of deceiving you. We're going through a very difficult time and still going to be very difficult. As you know, the price of food has gone up, but that is nothing, it's still going to be worse. And actually, without economic growth, there can be no jobs. Economic growth is the only thing that creates jobs. First of all, when I grew up in the ANC, we all believed in nationalization. We believe in nationalization, we believe in socialism, all of us. Even Madiba abandoned it in 1994. We all believed in it. I actually went to see President Nyerere because he was the guru of African socialism called Ujamaa. And we sat for a couple of hours with him. And that child of God was honest. He told me that he had second thoughts. And when he visited this country, when he visited South Africa, on a state visit, he asked to call on me in my office as Minister of Home Affairs, just to renew our friendship. And he told me a story that in 1980, when His Excellency President Mugabe became the Prime Minister, as he was, of Zimbabwe, he said to Prime Minister Mugabe, look, the economy of Zimbabwe, as you know, was only second to our economy in South Africa. It was the second best. President Nyerere told me that he told Mr. Mugabe that you have inherited a jewel in reference to the economy of Zimbabwe. And he said, please don't destroy it. Don't behave like me. You know, don't do what I did in Tanzania. Well, the rest is history. So when people talk about socialism now, socialism which ruined Russia and all the Eastern Bloc of countries, socialism which has not worked even in places like Cuba, where we've had to pay more than 2 billion, we had to ask Cuba not to pay 2 billion they owe us. All the other places where communism is supposed to be the answer. Socialism is not the answer. It will never be the answer. Well, the ANC has never given up on wiping out the IFP. Election after election, whether municipal, whether national, whether provincial, they came with a cavalcade of branded cars and expensive motorbikes. National leaders arrived in helicopters with great pomp and ceremony, while rock stars played and food flowed. Their message was money. Quote, look at what we have, they said. Don't you want to be like us? They preyed on desperate people, buying votes with food parcels and promises. They employed members of SADTU at the voting stations. As you know, SADTU is affiliated to COSATU and is part of the ANC, COSATU and SACP alliance. Those are the people that they put to be in charge of stations. All the leaders in opposition in parliament have written a letter to the IEC complaining about that. Well, the IEC said, well, in fact, they are not more than just 16%. But we don't even want them 16%. Because we had a very clear case in Nongoma. In Nongoma, in Ward 11, there were 3 councillors that were bribed and joined the ANC the same day. And by-elections were held, and we lost all of them. They had been ours. But in one ward, in Ward 11, Mr. Ndwandwe, who was our agent, party agent, saw that the person in charge of the station, voting station, did not count the special votes of old people and sick people. So the ward was then given to the NFP. So Mr. Ndwandwe approached our national chairman, the Honorable Mr. Kwala, who then took up the matter with our lawyer. We took it to the IEC. The IEC said that, in fact, they realized that something is wrong, but they didn't make a decision. They referred the matter to the electoral court, and the electoral court then ruled that those votes must be counted. And when they were counted, in fact, the vote had been won by us. And the person who was in charge was a member of SADTU. Indeed, they use state resources that are paid with their tax money, with their own money, to give you gifts, so-called. But the gifts they give you were owed to you, and you paid for them yourselves. Those blankets, mini meals, and those pots should have come with no strings attached, because they are bought with taxpayers' money. But it was understood that your vote was being bought. Even the treasury of this country has made a statement complaining about the buying of votes with food parcels. It sickens me to the pit of my stomach to think of our parents and grandparents being manipulated out of their right to free and fair elections. After all we gave to secure the vote, it is despicable that some consider it a commodity. I'm pained by the thought of our youth, many voting for the first time, being tricked into believing that power and wealth can be bought. President Zuma once said that if you vote for the ANC, we are securing your place in heaven. Of course, that is absolutely untrue. I'm sure the Reverend Donda will agree with me that that is not true. Let me tell you what the chief economist of the Standard Bank says about the ANC, and I quote merely, it's not my statement. Quote, President Zuma is a compromised man, presiding over a compromised executive, delivering compromised programs, unquote. There is a wave of righteous anger sweeping the whole of South Africa. But beware their leaders, of course, who are capitalizing on this to promote their own interests. That is why the Honorable Mr. Maimane, the leader of the DA, was heard shouting in Johannesburg, saying, Zuma must footsack. That's the kind of language they use. And we see Mr. Malema shouting in Parliament that Zuma is a liar and a thief. Well, that's not the kind of language that the IFP will ever use. We see violent protests on university campuses driven by the EFF, and we see the DA becoming more and more aggressive so as to not to be outdone by the EFF. These two parties are driving each other to extremes as they race to be the loudest and grab the biggest headlines. It is a scramble for what is called sound bites. The ANC has responded by trying to shut down the visibility of protests. In violation of the right to freedom of expression and in violation of the press code, the SAPC has announced a decision not to show violent protests on television. They are determined not to give any bad publicity to the ANC in the run to elections. So the protests get louder and the clampdown gets stronger. Where will this end? It can have no good outcome for us, for our country. In the midst of all these, comrades, the IFP stands like a lighthouse in all this gloom and doom, pointing the way to safer waters. There is an alternative to this standoff. We need not take South Africa down the path of self-destruction. There is still a party that believes in integrity and service first, a party that puts people before politics. There is still a voice of reason that restores calm and finds an answer. There are still people who build rather than destroy. This is the IFP. We are constructive rather than critical. We offer solutions instead of accusations. And the IFP is rising. We have seen, as mentioned by the Honorable Nkulawa Hlengwa, what happened since 2011. That whereas there had been little movement in most parties, that the ANC was gaining ground. In one by-election, after the next, voters returned the IFP to power. They have taken their vote back, and the party they trust and given a mandate to restore good governance is the IFP. Based on the pattern of votes since 2011 and the sentiments of voters, analysts have predicted a strong showing for the IFP in 2016. Well, I must say that I've never placed much store in predictions, for there are often hidden factors that influence what actually happens. I know that the ruling party is panicking, and an animal in panic is very dangerous. That's why we say in Sotho, ha ishwa iyaraga, maifi yakhaba. I also know that the opposition in Natal has much at stake, for it has wagered its future on winning this province. But this is no two-horse race. The IFP is in it with a strong hope of success. The IFP has experience in governing well. We know how to govern and we are willing to do it. I therefore invite you to vote for a future that you can look forward to. A future your children can look forward to inheriting. And a future that will benefit South Africa. Therefore, vote for a leadership you can trust. On the 3rd of August, let your vote send a powerful message to those who are failing failing to see that the road stops here. Those who are failing that the road stops here. Let us speak with one voice, comrades, and declare an alternative future for South Africa. One in which everyone has a home and everyone is respected. A future of stability, growth, prosperity, peace. Trust us to lead that way to that future. Your answer is the IFP. Trust and vote IFP. Let me say before I finish speaking, today the IFP is entering a contract of good governance with you. Just as our councillors, candidates take a pledge, I too, as the leader of the IFP, and on behalf of the IFP, will take that pledge. Comrades, I invite you now to listen carefully to the following pledge, and providing you with reasons why you should trust us. Comrades, trust us to hold councillors accountable for their actions. We will insist on the highest standards of good governance, of ethical behavior, and of responsiveness to the community. We will strictly enforce this and will fire those who fail to comply. Trust us to ensure that your IFP councillor will be a person of integrity. Trust us that your IFP councillor will be open and fair at all times. Trust us to ensure that your IFP councillor will include you in decision making. Trust us to ensure that your IFP councillor will be accountable. Trust us to ensure that your IFP councillor will be available at all times. Trust us to ensure that your IFP councillor will treat you with dignity and respect. Trust us to ensure that your IFP councillor will regularly consult with you and report back for feedback. Trust us to ensure that your IFP councillor will work for and with you. Trust us to ensure that our councillors serve everyone in the community. Trust us to make sure that IFP councillors act professionally at all times and serve with dedication. I, Mangosuthu Buthelezi, your president, take this pledge in front of you, myself. Bakwethu, ngiyaxolisa uma senikhathele ukuzizwa lami. Kodwa akukho okukhombisa ukuthi senikhathele. Ngishilo ngesikhathi ngisukuma ukuthi ngokuvamileyo umholi noma umupho wombusazwe ukhulume aqale ngokuhlonipha izikhulu ngokwezikhundla zazo. Namhlanje mangibheka lenkundla yeZwelithini Stadium, ngiyazi ukuthi abantu abamqoka kunabo bonke yilabo nina enize ukuzozwa nge-IFP. Yini nonke enisizathu soba khona kwethu lapho. Yini ningabantu esibasebenzelayo. Ngakho-ke ngiyakhuleka kubaba umfundisi uDonda osivuleleyo nakubantwana basendunkulu namakhosi asendunkulu no Deputy President Nkosi Sembongweni nosihlalo wethu kazwelonke umnumzana uGwala nesekela sihlalo uzolonke umnumzana uMncango nosihlalo umbutho wabesifazane unkosikazi Madlovu Mthetho nosihlalo kazwelonke wentsha umhlonishwa Mkhuleko Hlengwa ngikhuleka kubahlonishwa imeya zethu ezikhona abahlonishwa baseParliament amalungu eshaya mthetho zezifundazwe izikhulu zethu induna zamakhosi amakhansela ethu ama-candidates ethu ama-volunteer ethu ukuthokoza kwami kukubo kodwa ukugxile kakhulu kini nina abacomrade ngamunye enenza isinqumo sokuza lapha ukuzolalela i-IFP nenza isinqumo esiphusileyo ngiqonde ukunikeza okuningi enizocabanga ngakho nezizathu eziningi zokubeka ukwesekwa kwenu ngemva kwe-IFP. Iningi lenu ngiyazi ningabantu asebenesikhathi eside beyi-IFP neminyaka eminingi ninamathikithi obulungu abathile banawo kusukela ngo-1975. Ngiyanihlonipha ngokuyinikela kwenu ngazi ukuthi sihambe uhambo olumangaliso ndawonye nani oluyihambo olufake izwe lakithi umoya wenkululeko. Abanye abakule nkundla bangamalungu abuyele ku-IFP ngemva kokuba sebeyizwile amanzi ngobhoko kwamanye amaqembu bafumana ukuthi ayikho impela indawo efana nasekhaya IFP. Siyanemukela ekhaya bocomrade. Sithokoza kakhulu ngokubuyela kwenu ku-IFP. Ihlala ikhona indawo yenu emndenini wenu we-IFP. Siyakwazisa ukuba khona kwenu ezikhundleni ezishayo zenu ku-IFP. Siyabonga amavoti ethu ahambe ngephutha enibuya nawo. Kulabo abasanda kuqala ukubambisana ne-IFP sithi namukelekile. Siyathokoza kini ngokubeka kwenu ithemba lenu eqenjini elikusebenzelayo ukuhlonishwa yini. Njengoba siqhubekela phambili sisonke siyimisele ngokugcina ukusethemba kwenu. Siyanimema ukuba wenze wakho umnikelo kulokho okubambisana ngokuba i-IFP yilelo nalelo zwi libalekile kithi. Njengoba ngimile phakathi kwenu ma-comrades abantu abaningi kangaka abathanda izwe nesizwe sakubo nabahlobo ngizwa kuqubuka ithemba Manginibheka nje ngiqubuka ithemba enhliziyweni yami. Ngiyakwazi mina ukungafezwa. Nxa abantu abanomqondo ofanayo behlangana kanje njengoba nenzile namhlanje ngenxa yokufuna isizwe sakubo nemndeni yabo nemphakathi yabo ukusizakala okuhle kunakho konke. Sengibe nethuba lokuba umholi we-IFP iminyaka amashumi ngabona iwombe zokunqoba kuphinda kwabantu naphezulu kwey'nkinga ey'bekhona. Ngibone imiphakathi ecindezeleyo ubuphofu nobubha ivuka ikwazi ukuzenelisa idingo zayo ngobala. Ngibona intsha enethemba ngekusasa iyidalela ikusasa ngemfundo nolwazi. Ngibona imindeni eney'nhloko zemndeni okuzingane laba bazala abafe khona abanye babulawe isifo sobhubhane lwengculazi. Ney'ngane ey'khuliswa ngogogo. Ngabona lezi ngane zinempilo ezondlekile khona kogogo igcwele namathemba phezu kosizo olungako. Ngibona amabhizinisi ekhula esukele emalini encane yembewu kunayo yonke. Ngibona izindlu zakhiwa ngokubambisana phakathi kwabantu nohulumeni. Nemtholampilo yakhiwa lapho abantu babengenayo khona intulo yokufinyelela ekunakalelweni kwempilo. Ngivule inkulungwane empilweni yami zey'kole. Ngakho amakholishi nohulumeni wakwaZulu saka amakholishi ngondunankulu bethu bokuqala Dr. Mdlalose, Dr. Ngubane, Dr. Mtshali. Ngacela ubuyingane yifunde ziphinde yifunde zibuye zifunde. Ngibona abesifazane abacelwe phansi bekuhlukunyezwa bephinde bevuka. Lezi zinto zinokwenzeka bo-comrade, kodwa ayithuki zenzeka ngengozi futhi ke zenzekele ohlelweni lwentando yeningi. Kuyangidabukisa ukwazi ukuthi abantu abaningi baseNingizimu Afrika sebelahlekelwe yithemba entandweni yeningi. Lokho kungadalwa yikho ukuthi yona intando yeningi uqobo lwayo iyuhlelo onezici, kodwa ngenxa yendlela efezwa ngayo lapha eSouth Africa. Kuhle kulungile ukuba isakhiwo sezwe i-constitution inikeza amalungelo esintu kuba bonke abantu bakithi nokubanikeza izwi uhulumeni. Kodwa nxa kusekhona abantu abasalindele izindlu ezihloniphekileyo ngemva kweminyaka ama-22 singena entandweni yeningi nemkhukhu isengaka, nalapho amavoti esathengwa khona ngey'jumba nazokudla. Ngakumangazi ukuthi abantu bacabanga ukuthi intando yeningi kanti into engasebenzi. Kuyisho ukuthi ngisho noma umnyango wokuhlaliswa kwabantu uzama ukwenza lokhu ukwenza ukwakhela abantu izindlu ukuhlinzeka abantu, kodwa iningi lazo lezo zindlu zingamaqhokovana ngoba amathenda anikwa obhululu ney'hlobo abangazilutho ngokwakha, bese kuvele kuwa nje kuyiphahla phansi, bese kuthatha imali yenu amabhiliyoni athathwayo isekulungiswa lezi zindlu zomxhaso ezakhiwe ngobhululu nabangani babo. Ngakungabazeki ukuthi sisebenzela esimeni esiney'nkinga bakithi. Ezingeni ley'sekelo sokubusa ngentando yeningi okuyimasipala wakho wasekhaya kuney'nkinga ey'khona ezingafanele ukuba khona. Ukubusa kwamasipala kakusebenzi ngendlela okufanele kusebenza ngayo. Kukhona izinto ey'dinga ukuguqula ukuze kufezwe iy'thembiso zentando yeningi noma kwenziwe uhulumeni wasekhaya usebenzele iy'ndaba ezinhle ngokuthi khona indlela yokuqalisa lolo guquko. Kasiziy'nkubele engenakusizakala zohlelo olukhohlakeleyo nolohlulekayo. Cha, singabadlali abanganamandla kubedlula bonke kulolu hlelo. Singabavoti, singumbutho wabavoti. Yithi esishoyo ukuthi ngubani ofanele ukuhlala aqhubeke noti ngubani ofanele ukuhamba. Okumqoka kakhulu yithi singaguqula bonke ubuholi obusohlelweni lokubusa ngevoti lethu nje lodwa. Umzuzu wokwenza lokhu ngumhla zi-3 kuNcwaba enyangeni ey'phansi kwembili 50 insuku njengoba umhlonishwa uSinga Deshwe. kusukela namhlanje ikhungo zokuvota zizovulelwa ukhetho lwahulumeni wasekhaya. Ngalolo suku nje umhla zintathu kuNcwaba amandla ayobekwa lapho engabakhona ezandleni zenu, ezandleni zethu. Ngevoti lakho ungaguqula into yonke into ngevoti lakho nje. Ungaqiniseka ukuthi iyakhiwa imigwaqo ngakini emphakathini wakho, ukuthi isikole sendawo yakini siyakufumana ukunakekelwa esikudingayo nokuthi kuyafinyeleleka emanzini wonke unyaka. Ivoti lakho lingabasusa abantu abangakufanele ukuba ngamakhansela, abantu abangalihloniphanga igunya obanikele lona ngekhathi uvota, nabangalimelanga izwi lakho. Endaweni yabo ungabeka abantu abethembayo, ubasuse oxamu abaholelwa imali yakho njengomvoti bengenzi noluncu iminyaka emihlanu. Kodwa lokho kusiletha embuzweni obuzwa ngabantu beningizimu bonke ababuza ukuthi makunjena ngubane esingamethemba na kulesi simo sombusazwe esinenxushunxushu lapho kuqubuka khona imbhikisho etebisini zeparlamente nasey'bilini zawo phakathi impela enkundleni ye-National Parliament, ey'taladini ey'nkundleni zethu zemfundo. Kukhona umbuzo wodwa onkenenizayo, lo umbuzo wokwethembeka. Sekulimele ukwethembeka ezingeni lobuholi eliphezulu kunawo wonke. Ngokokuqala kusukela ebandlulweni sekuvuleke igebe elingenakuvaleka phakathi kwezakhamuzi nabaholi bakahulumeni. Ngicela ukukhuluma ngokusobala nje. Sibona ungaphathi ngendlela efaneleyo nenkohlakalo kuwonke amazinga kahulumeni ngothi lwawo. Ngisho wayena umengameli wethu akusho ukuthi kana umsulwa kana sici. Lokho sekholele enhlokomeni yokukhuza lonke izwe. Umuntu akakwazi ukuba angasikhumbuli isisho esithi nxa inhlanzi ibola ukubola kuqala ekhanda layo enhloko. Ngaphansi kobuholi balo mengameli sibona inkahlakalo isifana nento efanayo nohulumeni. Ihlazo ngemva kwehlazo ngemva kwelinye ihlazo libhebhetheka emaphephandabeni ezwe. Lapho kwama khona ukuyiqhenya sekuma inhloni. Lesi kakuyisimo kufanele kube yiso kulelizwe. Kodwa ushevu usungene wehlela kuwo onke amazinga. Uvula umnyango ivulela ezikhulu ekhohlakeleyo ezihlumisayo nezihahayo. Ukunikeza abangani nobhululu amathuba. Kunezihlobo amathuba ukuqasha amashoshozela enhlangano ephetheyo. Banikwa amathenda. Lana ngamagama kufanele kuba awakaze angene ohlwini lomagama esosebenzisa insuku zonke. Kodwa sonke siyawazi ngoba njengaso sonke isikhathi yonke indawo yilokho esikujwayeleyo ngaphansi kwalohulumeni okhona. Kakumangazi ukuthi abantu babuza ukuthi ngubani engamethemba na ubani engamethemba lesimo. Ngiyazi ukuthi bakhona bathile kule nkundla abafike nawo kanye lo mbuzo enhlizweni zabo ukuthi siyakulalela kodwa ubani singamethemba. Nizokuzolalela ukuthi yini IFP engalithulela yona. Ngiyethemba lokuzwa okuthile engakholelwa kukho. Noma kwaminyaka eyithembiso eziyize zamanga ezephuliweyo. Nibheka okuthile engakwethemba. Ngifuna ukunikhuthaza ngoba lisekhona iqembu ongalethemba eNingizimu Afrika. Ungayethemba IFP. Ungasathemba thina. Ngisho ngeqholo elikhulu lokho. Ngoba kwaziwa nawo simakade ezulwini ukuthi iqiniso. Ukuthi angisikeli iqembu lethu elilonileyo. Ngikhuluma amaqiniso. Ngiyayiqhenya. Ngokunjalo nje nxa ngikhuluma kubantu ngesimilo se-IFP. Nalokho engakwenza amazwi ami asekwa iminyaka engama41 yobuholi obuqotho. i-IFP isebenzela abantu ngobuqotho amashumi eminyaka bese khala lempi yokulwa nobandlulo sebenza ngokubambisana ngaphakathi eNingizimu Afrika ukuzuza intando yeningi sasetafuleni lokubonisana sihola impi yokuba sibe nezifundazwe eziyimele nawomasipala abahlinzeka ngamanye umnikelo wethu lo uconstitution yezwe bese uhulumeni obunye iminyaka elishumi sizama ukuguqula imigomo nemithetho ehlululayo lesikhathi sedlule ukuze kudalwe izwe lapho lawo nalowo muntu ehlonishwa khona sasiphethe amatomu KwaZulu Natal sisheshisa intuthuko sibeka nezisekelo zokubusa okuhlanzekileyo iminyaka elishumi ngaphansi kwaNdunankulu abengibabalayo isimo sendawo yombusazwe sesiguqukile ngakho sekunesiqiniseko soguquko oluningi kodwa i-IFP ma comrade nenhlahla nangebhadi laba basenyanyawo sisekhona akini sisekhona ma comrade sisasebenzela nina sizamele ukusizakala kweNingizimu Afrika okuhle unakho konke siseparlamente siseshaya emthethweni KwaZulu Natal naseGauteng sikomasipala beyifunda sikomasipala basekhaya semphakathini wakho silalela idingo zakho kahle nakanye senze isithembiso sehluleke ukwethula sithembekile kuwe nasemashumi amane eminyaka sakhe ukubambisana ongawathemba yilelo IFP elakhileyo ngiyayikhanya ngalo kodwa ngaphezulu kwalokho ngiyathokoza ngoba ngiyazi ukuthi ngemva kwalelifa khona ukusebenza kokuyikhandla nokuyinikela ongenakuyicabangela kweyinkulungwane zabesilisa nabesifazane abahlangene nomndeni nina abocomrade nina insizwe enkulu intombi enkulu zenkatha ngikhuluma ngani lapho sana siqikelela ukuthi ngobani esibabeke ezikhundeni zokwethenjwa ngoba abantu baphathiswe igama elihle le-IFP ngakho nxa sikhetha abazomela ukhetho siyaqiniseka ukuthi ngabantu abafaneleyo lo msebenzi kungayi nje ngokuthi bangabaholi emphakathini yabo kuphela kodwa ngoba betshengise isimilo esiqotho namhlanje ngiyayiqhenya abacomrade ukunethulela amalungu alapha e-IFP angenela ukhetho lwahulumeni basekhaya ka-2016 laba comrade ngabesizwe besifazane abazosebenzela izinga lakho bathole izwi lakho balifaka umasipala wakho yibo engizokhuluma nabo xa khona ukunikhathazileyo nenikhathazeke ngakho bazophendula imibuzo yakho bathungathe nokuhlangabezana nezidingo zakho bazoqiniseka ukuthi ukubusa emphakathini wakho kwenziwa ngobuqotho ngendlela esobala nangokuhlanganyela kwempela amalungu ethu angenela ukhetho lwa-2016 bayaqonda ukuthi nguwe oyisizathu sokuba khona kwe-IFP balapha ukusebenzela wena i-IFP iyaqonda ukuthi lokhu kuyisibopho esikhulu nxa ninikeza abamele i-IFP okhethweni igunya lenu lokho kwakha isivumelwano nesibopho phakathi kwethu nabo thina njengeqembu yithi siba nesibopho esipheleleyo sokwenza abaholi bethu abakhethiweyo baphendule ngokusebenza ngobuqotho siyaqiniseka ukuthi bayawenza kahle umsebenzi wabo ngoba bawenza ngaphansi kwegama le-IFP ngakho-ke nalelo lungu ngalinye elingenela ukhetho esiphakamisela ukhetho liyacela ukuba lisayini isethembiso lapho beyinikela khona ekuphenduleni ngokusebenza kwabo ubuqotho ukuba bufinyelele kubo ukuthembeka nokukhuthala ngiyathokoza ukuthi onke amalungu ethu angenela ukhetho basemukele ngentando yabo nesithembiso bazosayini namhlanje khona lapha phambi kwenu ngenkathi benza lokho ngiyanikhuthaza uba nibhekisise lelo lungu lalabo bantu nizobavotela mhla zi-3 kuNcwaba ngoba yibo abazoba yisibopho esixhumanisa nina nohulumeni wentando yeningi osebenza ngempumelelo ukwenza uhulumeni ukuba sebenze ngempumelelo ngaqondene nakuguqula ikhundla kucabinet Uqondene nokuguqula ubuholi ezingeni elisekelo. Ukubusa uqotho uqalisa kwamasipala. Kulapha lapha izwi lakho lizokhala khona, lapho kungahlangatshezwa khona nezidingo zakho zensiza. Ngawo kuyafuneka ukuba kufakwe iqembu elifanele ebuholini ezingeni likamasipala. Yilelo nalelo qembu liletha elawo umoya wesimilo nombusazi walo. Kakusinto eqondanelayo nje leyo. Umasipala abantu abaphethe u-ANC behluleke bancama. Behluleke benaba thwi ukuhlangabezana nezidingo zabantu. Uqondene nayo inkohlakalo ungaphathi ngendlela efaneleyo nokusetshenziswa kwemali ngendlela encithakalo. Sijwayele imibhikisho manje lapha eNingizimu Afrika enendluzula enza kwamasipala abaphethe ukhongolose kulo lonke izwe. Yonke imibhikisho yenziwa ngamalunga akhongolose. Ababona ukhongolose abamalunga awo kwehluleka kwethula insizwa. Baze bafinyelele ezingeni lokucekela phansi ngomlilo amahhovisi nezindlu namakhansela. Baze babulala nabantu yeheni. Kabagcini lapho bacele phansi izikole. Nake nakuzwa lebevungani ukuthi izikole ezingama-20 zeve ishisiwe. Lento ngangiyikhuza ngoba ngenkathi umbutho wethu kakhongolose uthi liberation now, education later. Ngakuphikisa lapho ngathi na education for liberation. Ngathi ingane ayifundi. Ingane ngisasegoli zayifunda kwadlangezwa. Abafunda kwadlangezwa bayazi oDr Mutlana babecela mina uthi ingane zawo noqhoboza umhleli wephepha iWorld uzofunda kwadlangezwa ungasafundwa yonke izwe. Ngakho amakholeji mina othisha lonke sonke isifundazwe bas iqembu liphethe lavala ngabo chancellor lapha enyuvesi inyanga ama-21 21 years ongoye kuthi ma abafana ingane lezi nikeza igcoba ngeziqu zabo bese bethi akusizi lutho ngoba umsebenzi ayibona. Yilokho kwangenza ngakhuluma nodokotela nomngani wami uMr Oppenheimer ukuthi angangisize ngemali ngakhe icollege lamakhono iMount Technical bangakuvumi lokho. Ngenkathi sifuna inkululeko ukhongolose wathi kufanele izwe silenze lingabuseki. Washo njalo ukhongolose wathi izwe kufanele lenziwe lingabuseki. Amalokishi ethu kufanele lenziwe angabuseki. Ngathi mina chabo bafowethu uma senze njalo abasekubuseka ngisho sekuphethethiwe. Ngakho lokho esikubonayo kwadalwa yibo. Sibona imali ichithwa nekhona eminyakeni emihlanu omasipala lapha eNatal behluleke umsebenzi inketho eyibonelelo ezigidi ezingama-210 210 million. This is phakathi iduvile sebeyinikiwe sebeyiphethe yaduva yabuyiselwe emuva ePitoli ubuholi njalo lokho singakhuluma ngokuntuleka kokuhlela nokuntuleka kombono kodwa egcineni kuqondene ngqo nokuntula ubuqotho. Uma ufuna ngempela ukulekelela abantu nokuhlangabezana nezidingo zabo kawubazibe abantu bazibe. Kawuyeke imali ingasetshenziswa ngenkathi abantu belambile. Kakuyike ukubusa ukuntula ubuqotho nje. Lokhu kuwukonakala kokuqala kokugcina. Kangumangazi ukuthi imibhikisho yokhona nokuntuleka kwensiza ikuleyo yenzeka kuyo lona lo masipala uphele ukhongolose. izinto kayingcono kulabo amasipala abaphoqelela ukuphatheni abaphoqelela ukuthi bahlangane ne-NFP nekhongolose kwaba isinyathelo sombusazwe nje ngokupheleleyo esanqunyelwa phezulu kwaba ngabantu abakhokha intengo yaso iningi lalabo masipala babengenakho ukuzinza iminyaka emihlanu kungumbusazo ongqongqoza ukwethulwa kwensiza kuphela kulo mbhalo wezithembiso zokhetho uzofumana istatement esiyisisekelo sokuthi singobani thina nokuthi kungani sibe ngababambisene nawe abathembekileyo ekubuseni okuqotho iminyaka emide kangaka akaze kunuwe nasantungwana akaze kunuwe nasishiphi senkohlakalo uphethe thina ngoba asiwona amasela kodwa lo mbhalo wezithembiso zokhetho uthinta zonke inhlangothi kulona lo mphakathi IFP izohlinzeka umbhalo wezithembiso zokhetho zendawo ezikhuluma ngendawo leyo naleyo ngendawo ezithile eqondene ngqo nendawo leyo kulo mbhalo comrade wezithembiso zokhetho sizohlonishwa kabanzi ngamalungu angenela ukhetho egcemeni zenu futhi bazakwenza izithembiso zabo zokuyinikela kini ngiyanikhuthaza ukuba ufunde ndawonye lo mbhalo wezithembiso zokhetho niwuhlanganise nalowo esiwethula namhlanje ukuze nizoba nomfanekiso opheleleyo ukuthi kungani ivoti le-IFP liyivoti loguquko olwakhayo ngakho ngicela ukunikeza izathu ezithile eziqotho zokuthi fanele niyivotele ngani i-IFP kusobala ukuthi liyadingeka izwi likanembeza uqinisa intando yeningi lelo zwi yi-IFP comrade ngithi ungasethemba ukuthi sizoqhuba ubusa uqotho kulona lo masipala comrade ngithi ungasethemba ukuba senze ukudalwa kwemisebenzi kube yinto ephuthumayo kubo bonke umasipala be-IFP comrade ungasethemba ukuxegisa amazipho enkohlakalo ukuhlinzeka kwezindlu ezihloniphekileyo hhayi oveza inyawo ngaphandle kwamathenda angekho emthethweni noma iy'thembiso eziyize zamanga wonke umuntu udinga indlu kakuyibo bonke abambalwa bayidingayo ngakho ungasethemba comrade uba sihloniphe ukusebenza komthetho ezweni nokudala ukuvikeleka emphakathini wakho ukuze lo nalo umuntu akwazi ukuphepha nokuzizwa ephephile abesifazane bethu ney'ngane zethu fanele bazizwe bephephile ey'teladini zethu ungasethemba comrade uba siqoke abazongenela ukhetho abazosebenzela wena onke amalungu e-IFP angenela ukhetho bazosayinda isivumelwano sokubusa ngobuqotho iqembu elizoqiniseka ukuthi bandlelelwa kuso ungasethemba ukuba sizozethula iy'nsiza kubo bonke abantu ngomoya wobuntu hhayi kwabambalwa nje kuphela ngendlela elimaza abaningi ungasethemba comrade ukuthi sizomemezela isomiso esikhona njengesomiso esiphuthumayo esiyingozi nokuthi sizobeka eqhulwini eliphambili ukuhlinzekwa kwamanzi okuphuza ahlanzekileyo kubo bonke abantu ungasethemba ukuba kulekelela ukubaka ukudla etafuleni nokunakekelwa kwempilo yomndeni ungasethemba ukusheshisa ukwakhiwa kwemigwaqo namabhuloho ukuhlinzeka ezokuthutha ey'phephileyo nokuguqula umgomo osebenzayo njengamanje wokuphoyisa ogcizelela ubonakala kakhulu kwamaphoyisa ey'nkundleni zonke lonke izwe sokucupha ukuyenga abantu uba benza amacala ungasethemba comrade ukubambisana ney'kole ukudala indawo yokufundela iy'ngane zethu engcono kungani kufanele usethembe yilo mbuzo umlando wethu wokusebenza ngesikhathi sibusa kwaZulu nangenkathi sibusa kwaZulu Natal emva kwenkululeko iminyaka eyishumi iyayikhulumela akukho noyedwa usukela nakongqongqoshe wake wakhonjwa ngenjumbane ngenxa yenkohlakalo. I-IFP inombono wodwa nomgomo wodwa lo ngokusebenzela bonke abantu baseNingizimu Afrika. Ngakho ngiyakumema ukuba weseke ubuholi obukuzuzela ukwethenjwa. Sikufakazela okungenziwa nxa abaholi abethembekileyo abaphendulayo ngokusebenza kwabo abasebenzela obala nabanokwethenjwa besebenzela khona izwe iNingizimu Afrika. Ngalesi sizathu ke i-IFP kufanele ukwesekwa nguwe comrade. Singabantu abafaneleyo umsebenzi. Kungani ke sihlangabezana nokubhaqabuleka enkethweni na? Kungani kwesekwa kwe-IFP enkethweni kwehla? Kunesizathu esisodwa esobala. Isisho sithi ikhathi enzima sifuna inyathelo enzima. Kangikabazeki ukuthi izwe lakithi libhekene nezikhathi enzima. Eminyakeni yobuholo obubuthaka iqembu elibusayo ezingeni likazwelonke selifaka iNingizimu ne-Afrika esimeni esicayi. Umnotho wezwe umile nse, imisebenzi iyalahleka, imisebenzi ayibona, ububha buyesabeka. Ngokuya ngokwehla kweNingizimu ne-Afrika zizoqina iy'thembiso. Uhulumeni wethembisa ukudala uhafu, umhlonishwa umengameli ePhalamende bangafakaza nabo umhlonishwa uSingh esasinabo kwalahleka imisebenzi eyisigidi esikhundleni salokho. Lesi simo sokwenzeka kwezinto asiyinto entsha. Kusukela ngasekuqaleni i-ANC yathembisa izinto eyayingeke ikwazi ukuzethula. Yakhuza iy'qubulo eyayingenalo uhlezi lokuyifeza. Isethembiso semfundo yayamahala kasikenzeki. Isethembiso sezindlu zabo bonke abantu and a better life for all kakahlangatshezwa naso. Kodwa umehluko phakathi kwamanje lesiminyakeni eyishumi edlule ukuthi abantu sebekhathele basayimisela ukulinda. Sebelahlekelwe ukukholwa ukuthi i-ANC izokwethula. Ngoba kwathenjwa sekulimele ngendlela engenakulungiseka. Umkhankaso ukuthi makuphele ukukhokhela kwemfundo, i-fees must fall. Uthumele umyalezo ezweni. Uhulumeni angakwaziyo ukuziba noma engathanda, noma uyathanda noma akathandi. Bengesiyo umyalezo nemfundo yamahala nje. Bekumlayezo wokuthi sesanele ngeke salinda noma silalela amanye amazibo enu. Kuphakathi koba wethule noma uphume. Ngumlayezo olula lo wentando yeningi. Amandla okuqasha nokuxosha uhulumeni asezandleni zabantu nina njengabavoti. Kasibanjiwe amabhongwane ngabaholi bombusazwe. Empeleni yithi esiphethe amatomu. La matomu sinikwa ivoti lethu. Kodwa ngesho phakathi kwesimo esibucayi abantu sebelahlekelwe yithemba ukuthi ivoti labo lingathengwa noma liguqulwe. Lapho KwaZulu Natal i-IFP izuzela ukwethenjwa ngokuqhuba uhlelo lokuphatha okuhlanzekileyo nolunekhona. Besiqonda ukuthi ububha ogxilileyo ngeke bukwazi ukuba ukuthi kusabe sephelile. Kodwa besiqhubeka ngesineke sifaka uhlaka lokukhula komnotho ngejubane. Kodwa i-ANC kayikazi kuyeka ukufuna ukuqeda i-IFP. Nya khuluma nje izolo ngeke ngahamba kwamashu nasentuzuma. Kuthe uma kwenye indawo bathi bangasibona bafaka ama-t-shirt abo. Ley'ngane zino 5 years bayifaka ama-t-shirt dadabuka nawo. Baphuma lapha baviliyela ngoba besibona. Izolo, ngikhuluma ngento yayizolo, bebenza kimi izolo. Suka omkhulu ke ngoba nalezi zakithi ezibe zingiphelekezela. Hawe bangisayibeka phansi yayihlabelela nazo. Kwayisimanga. Utelevision lo ka-SABC ukuthathile konke kodwa kukhonjiswanga. Okuyena nje bifana ikhonjiswe. Ekugcwaliseka ukuthi bawukhombisa abakuthandayo hayi okwenzekayo. kuna neculo lokuthi shenge uyixoki buyela ekhaya behlabelela kanjalo abaholi bakazwelonke besibona yonke indawo befika ngama-helicopter lana anophephela emhlane bebukisa ngenkathi ingcweti zomculo i-rock and roll sidlala ukudla kuyiziduli zabasali umyalezo wabo bekuyimali bethi ake nibheke sinje thina kanifuni nani banje bebesizakala ngabantu abalahlekelwe yithemba bethenga amavoti neyijumbana zokudla neyithembiso zamanga impela bebesebenzisa ingcebo nempahla yombuso okhokhelwe imali yenu njengabatheli bentela nezipho izipho abanipha zona ngabavele benikweneta zona nikhokhela nina inqobo zenu lezo ibhala nonswinswi lezingubana abayikhiphayo naleyo mpuphu namabhodwe konke bekufanele kufike ngaphandle kwembandela kodwa beqondakala ukuthi ivoti lenu liyathengwa ngakho kungikhulisa phakathi ezibilini zami ukucabanga abazali bethu nabazukulu bethu abasenziswayo bephuca ilungelo labo lokhetho olukhululekileyo nolungenzeleliyo ngemva kwakho konke esikunikeleyo ukufumana ivoti kuyenganyeka ukuba kunabathile abalithatha njengempahla yokuthengwa nokuthengisa ivoti kungizwisa ubuhlungu ukucabanga ngentsha yethu eningi laba bavota ngokuqala uba baluthwe benziwe bakholwe ngokuthi amandla nomcebo kuyathengwa umengameli Zuma wake wathi uma uvotile i-ANC usuyifumanele indawo ezulwini lento ayishoyo umhlonishwa yilumbo ngicela ukunitshena ukuthi inhloko yezomnotho yebhange elikhulu Standard Bank imchaze kanjani ukhongolose ngicapha namazwi wabo bathe umengameli Zuma umuntu onyondelekileyo wengameli isigungu esinyondelekileyo esisula inhlelo enyondelekileyo ngakho-ke kukhona igagasi lentukuthelo efanele libhebhetheka eNingizimu Afrika kodwa qaphelani ngoba kukhona abaholi basizakala ngalokhu ukusebenzela iy'dingo zabo bona ngakho siyabona umhlonishwa womholi Mayimane ukuthi ngeminyaka kuyo yokuzalwa akhuluma impela eGoli athi uZuma kafuseke hawu ongamazwi aqinileyo angabekwa ngendlela sizwe nomnumzana uMalima ememeza ePhalamende ethi uZuma unamanga futhi uyisele emkhomba ebusweni phambi kwethu hawu sibona i-IFP ne-DA isebenzisa ukuhlasela uthi ubani odlela omunye lamaqembu afoqelana izimeni ezisabekayo njengoba encintisana ngokubanga umsindo omkhulu ukuthi ubani uba ngumsindo kakhulu kunomunye nokuzuza izihloko ezinkulu kunezonke emsakazweni nakuma radio i-IFP iphendule ngokuzama umboza ubonakala wembhikisho ngendlela ephula ilungelo lenkululeko yokuzwakalisa umbono wokuphula umthetho wenhlelo sebethe bamenza isinqumo sokuthi u-TV lo angayitshengisi imbhikisho nendluzula lapha ku-TV kumabonakude bayimisela ngokungavezi lutho oluzodumisa i-ANC kabi njengoba kubhekwe okhethweni ngakho imbhikisho iya ngokuya iba nomsindo omkhulu nokuyicindezela nakho kuya kuqina kuzophelelaphi konke lokhu kakwazi ukuba nomphumela omuhle phakathi kwalokhu bo-comrade i-IFP imi njengesibani olwandle esikhomba indlela emanzini aphephile. Likhona elinye ithuba lokwenziwa kunalokhu kugqolozelana. Kasikudinga ukudiliza iNingizimu Afrika phansi endeleni yokucela phansi. Lisekhona iqembu elikholelwa ebuqotheni nokusebenzela abantu nelibeka abantu ngaphambili kombusazwe. Ngiyazi ukuthi iqembu elibusayo lingenwa yitwetwe. Ngakho nazi ukuthi isilwane esethukileyo siyingozi enkulu kakhulu. Njengoba ngesizulu sisho ukuthi ha ishwa iyaraha. Nayi ifa yakhaba. Ngiyazi ukuthi iqembu eliphikisayo KwaZulu-Natal linokuningi okusengozini ngoba libeka ikusasa lalo enqobeni lesifundazwe. Kodwa lo mjaho kakusiwo umjaho phakathi kwamahhashi amabili kuphela. I-IFP kuwo ngethemba lempumelelo nayo. I-IFP inolwazi ekubuseni ngobuqotho. Ayikufundisi iyakwazi. Siyakwazi ukuthi kwenziwa njani. Futhi imisele ukwenza lokho esasikwenza. Ngakho ngiyakumema ukuvotela ikusasa ongalilangazela. Ikusasa izingane zakho ezingalindela ukuyizuza njengefa. Nekusasa okuzosizakala ngalo bonke abantu baseNingizimu Afrika. Ngakho ngithi ngiyabonga uThuzi. Umyalezo wami uthi votela ubuholi ongabethemba. Mhla zintathu kuNcwaba. Yenza ivoti lakho lithumele umyalezo onamandla kulabo abehlulekayo. Umyalezo wokuthi ukuhola ugcina lapho. Masikhulume ngezwe lilodwa. Simemezela ikusasa elinikeza iNingizimu Afrika elinye ithuba. Ithuba lapho wonke umuntu enekhaya khona nalapho wonke umuntu ehlonishwa khona. Ikusasa lesimo esizinzileyo, ukukhula kokunethezeka nokwethula. Sethembeni kucomrade. Basihole ngendlela leli kusasa niyazi ukuthi sihola kanjani. I-IFP impendulo. Nike niyibonele nini badala ukuthi sasiphethe kanjani njengoba sengishilo. Ngakho mvoti ngamunye sithembe. Votelani i-IFP. Namhlanje i-IFP ngena nani esivumelwaneni esizosayina sobuqotho. Njengoba bangenela ukhetho lobaba umkhansela ethu bavuyile ukwenza isithembiso nami njengomholi we-IFP. Ngizosenza isithembiso phambi kwenu esanelayo. Ngihlinzeka ngezizathu zokusethemba. Nasi isithembiso engisenza phambi kwenu. Sethembe ukuba senza amakhansela aphendule izenzo zawo. Sizogcizelela amazinga aphakemeyo ubusa ngobuqotho, ukuziphatha okunesimilo nokusabela emphakathini. Sizokuphoqelela ngokuqinileyo lokhu sibaqoshe labo abehluleka ukubambisana nawo. Sethembe ukuba siqiniseke ukuthi ikhansela lakho le-IFP lizoba umuntu oqotho. Sethembe ukuthi ikhansela lakho lizovuleka libe nongenzeleli ngazo zonke ikhathi. Sethembe ukuba ikhansela lakho lizofaka nawe ekwenziweni kwey'nqumo. Sethembe ukuba siqiniseke ukuthi ikhansela lakho lizophendula ngokusebenza kwalo. Sethembe ukuba siqiniseke ukuthi ikhansela lakho le-IFP lizotholakala ngazo zonke ikhathi. Sethembe ukuba siqiniseke ukuthi ikhansela lakho le-IFP liyothatha ngokuqiniseka konke ukukhathazeka kwakho. Sethembe ukuthi siqiniseke ukuthi ikhansela lakho le-IFP lizokuphatha ngesithunzi nenhlonipho. Sethembe ukuthi siyawuqiniseka ukuba ikhansela lakho le-IFP lizobonisana nawe njengomvoti ngekhathi libuyise nemibiko yokwenziwayo. Sethembe ukuba ikhansela lakho lizokusebenzela lisebenze nawe futhi. Sethembe ukuqiniseka ukuthi amakhansela ethu azosebenzela wonke umuntu emphakathini. Sethembe comrade uzawuqiniseka ukuthi amakhansela e-IFP asebenza ngobungcwepheshi ngazo zonke izikhathi nokuthi asebenza ngokuyinikela. Kulesi sikhathi mina Mangosuthu Buthelezi mengameli we-IFP ngenzela isithembiso uNkulunkulu angisize. Ngiyacela ama comrade. Ngoba ngenze khona isimemezelo ngesifushane.
Sacela sithole umsindo bafowethu umhlonishwa umengameli usafuna ukwenza isimemezelo.
The printed copy.
Sicela sehlisa umsindo silaleleni.
Let me play. Kukhona izinto ezincane imbili ezimqoka. It's addendum. I don't think it's in there. Comrades and leaders of the IFP, I would like to add this last addendum. The Electoral Commission has received a large number of independent candidates for the 2016 election, many of whom are disgruntled members of various parties who did not make it into candidates' lists. Regrettably, because we cannot have two candidates standing in the same ward, a few IFP members have also chosen to stand as independent candidates. This is a decision they have taken of their own accord and is not endorsed by the IFP. There is no truth in the message that they are standing with the support of the blessing of the party. A vote for an independent candidate simply takes a vote away from the IFP. I therefore urge you, comrades, not to vote for independent candidates in the mistaken belief that they represent the IFP. Only a vote for the IFP will strengthen your voice. But to those people who are now independent, I say ta-ta, bye-bye. Last point, I would like to talk about relations between the IFA and the ANC. This past week, an image popped up on social media of my photograph, superimposed onto an ANC billboard. Whoever designed this false image clearly wants to sow the lie that I support voting for the ANC. It is deeply mischievous and sets back any talk of reconciliation between our two parties. The Daily News, Isolezwe, the Daily Sun picked up the story and quoted the IFP's chairperson of our national campaign, the Honorable Mr. Naren Singh, stating in no uncertain terms that the IFP has not joined the ANC. For those who may have seen this image on social media and are wondering what it means, I want to set your mind at ease. Let your voice declare that we don't fall for allies. Vote IFP. Ngokufishane bo comrade. Ikomishana yokhetho ifumane isibalo esikhulu salaba abemeleyo okhethweni. Abaningi babo abanganelisanga ngoba abakhethwanga. Abaphumelanga ukungena einhleni zokhetho. Base bayinjiphethe impela. Ngiyadabukisa lokho ngoba kasikwazi ba namalungu amabili amele ukhetha isigcemeni sodwa. Kunamalungu ambalwa e-IFP nawo akhethe ukuba azimele. Lesinqumo abazenzela sona ngoba esingavunywanga iqembu le-IFP. Kalikho iqiniso embikweni othi bangene ngokwesekwa noma ngesibusiso seqembu. Ivoti yokuvotelwa ngalo ilungu elizimeleyo kufanele nokuphuca i-IFP ivoti. Nawo ngiyanxusa ukuba ningawavoteli amalungu ayimeleyo ngenkolelo yiphuthu ukuthi bamele i-IFP. Ivoti yokuvotelwa ngale IFP kuphela elizoqinisa izwi lakho. Okwesibili nakho ngicina ngakho ngobudlelwane phakathi kwe-IFP ne-ANC. Kuleli viki kubuke ey'nkundleni zomphakathi zokuxhumana umfanekiso onanyekwe ngaphezu koqembu le-ANC lokukhangisa noma ngabe ngibani oqambele umfanekiso oyiphutha kusobala ukuthi ufuna ukuhlwanyela amanga ukuthi mina mangosuthu umholi wenu ngeseka ukuvotela i-ANC. Kunguganga okujule kakhulu nokubuyisela umuva noma yimiphi imizamo esiyenzayo yokubuyisana phakathi kwalamaqembu amabili. Amaphephandaba iDaily Sun neSolezo bayicoshile indaba bacaphuna usihlalo wekomidi likazwelonke lokukhangisela ukhetho umhlonishwa uNarendra Singh ekusho ngamazwi aqondileyo ukuthi i-IFP kayijoyinile i-ANC. Kulabo ngenzeka ukuba babone lo mfanekiso ey'nkundleni zomphakathi zokuxhumana nabamangalayo nje ukuthi kusho ukuthini lokhu. Ngifuna ukukhulula imiqondo yenu. Akukho lutho ngaphandle kokuganga okungemva kwalento. Ngakho yenza ivoti lakho lokumemezela ukuthi asikuvumeli ukuluthwa ngamanga ziganga. Ngakho ngiyanicela comrade kulabo abathi bayinjiphethe bamalungu ethu, ngiyanicela basibavalelise sonke sithi tata amandla ilizwe iyaphi indlovu iyokwenzani iyothini kuphi iyokwenzani kuphi amandla
amandla izwe ubani umholi bafowethu socela ke ukuchaza ukuthi kuzokwenza njani manje. Sesingena ohlelweni lokuba isigaba sesibili senkulumo yomntwana ngeyokuba labo abazoba ngama candidate benze isifungo phambi kwenu naphambi kwabantu base South Africa ukuthi bazosebenza ngokwethembeka nangokuyikhandla. Okwesibili kuzobeke sebesayina leso sifungo sabo abasenzile, kodwa ukusayina kuzokwenziwa abambalwa egameni lethu sonke. Okunye ngifuna ukuchaza kakhulukazi kubafowethu bezamaphepha ukuthi akusiwo kuphela ama-candidate ethu la. Ama-candidate ethu azinkulungwane 3 avela kulo lonke izwe, kodwa laba bakhona bayisempuli yalabo bamele bonke lezi nkulungwane 3 ebengeke zonke zize la ngoba sisazoya naseyindaweni zabo kwamanye ama-province. So I just wanted to clear that is not the total complement of our candidates. Ngakho ke sizocela ke ukuthi wonke umuntu la oyicandidate aphakamisa isandla ngizofunda bese nisho emva kwami. Kufundeka kanje ngesilungu, I pledge to remain faithful to this contract, to implement the promises we make in our manifesto. To be free of corruption and to prevent corruption. To ensure open, inclusive, and participatory governance. To serve my community to the best of my ability. Utilizing all the resources at our disposal. To behave both professionally and personally in a manner that is always above reproach.
To behave both professionally and personally in a manner that is always above reproach.
Be a person of integrity. Be open and fair at all times. To include you in decision making. To be accountable. To be available at all times. To take your concerns seriously. To treat you with dignity and respect. To regularly consult with you and to report back. To be the voice of the community in all council meetings. To work for and with you. Trust us to live by this contract of good governance. In our service to you, in the spirit of Ubuntu. Inkosi ngisize. Thank you. Then we can sign. Bangayimela nje. Kodwa nani? Namba banga. Asishayini ihlombe sebezibophezele. Sengiyocela ke ngiyocela ukuthi sonke ke sibuyele endaweni zethu. Thina sonke ama candidates sibuyele endaweni zethu. Amandla izwe ubani umholi ubani umholi kuleli thuba ke sizobeke sisabuyele endaweni zethu socela abahlonishwa abahlale phansi sisabuyele endaweni zethu ke siphe sithola ukudla kwendlebe kade silalele a minute or half a minute.
Okay. Because that's the question. Question no goma babukepu. Ukumpa kale mandlakazi. Sathi nyembezi komnamzana Bhekele zaphanga namahlokona. Waqaqaniseka. Saphe visana kwasa kwa NFP ukhaleni kwegqasi. Unkosi ehlasela ngedlo sehlatshelwayo. Eningagona intethe. Phela kuhlana usuke kulandela. Imsebenzi yabonakala. Wendlala ithebula phambi kwethu zakhe. Phela kuhlana umsake kulandela ngathi imsebenzi yabonakala. Yebe majomba ayibambe ayifike ungena egodini lethu ngizokufa kuyakwendelana amaqembu amabili kwendeleni iNFP beneqembu elibusayo sendeza mshiya kwamagwaza semgonqweni waphenduka isidulu sikasawoti khona lapha Prince Mangosuthu airport kwala sondilo limahlikihlikana. If we are living in that glass house you don't throw stone kuyaka babazo Dr. Sadiqule sala kwala seshawe washaya izandla wamfulathela khona lapha kwala semlalazi. If we are living in that glass house you don't throw stones okuthola okufunayo eyakithi amashana lingashoni ayithuswa ngomsindo eyane eyidake ngombuso entandeni Siyole! Siyole! Siyole!
Amandla angithi nizwileke ukuthi sithini kulaba asebeyimele bazindephundephu sithini kwakukhona umhlonishwa uSithebe osowahamba emhlabeni owayekhona eqenjini leNkatha owayengqongqoshe kuhulumeni wakwaZulu womnyango wezangaphakathi wayethi umuntu ozimele ambize ngendephundephu athi unezinqe ezinkulu indephundephu amandla sizocela ke ukuba abafowethu bemthente ke bezosi
Let's Sicela nayo i-announcement ephuthumayo. Imoto evalela apha ekuphumeni kwesango la ngaphakathi. Abakwa-TV bacela ukuphuthuma bayofita estudio. Uma uvimbe lapha ngeke iphume zonke izinto zeqembu lekati ekade zenzeka la. Ovale lapha asusa imoto esangweni. Amaphoyisa ayidonsa-ke manje. Woyilanda ngale. We can be able
$18, $19, $20, $21, $22.